Oh my gosh, look at all these ingredients.
We're overflowing.
What am I going to do? I have no counter space. All of it is taken up by ingredients. But they're necessary to make tonight's dish, and we're going after you again, Taco Bell, because this time we're going to reduplicate.
Uh-oh.
What?
We're going after Taco Bell? Again!
We're going after Taco Bell again, because we are going to reduplicate the Mexican pizza the old traditional way. And I'm talking about when Pizzazz Pizza was brand new and they changed it over to the name of Mexican Pizza. And they still used the same recipe.
They called it Pizzazz?
They called it Pizzazz at first.
That's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
like that.
As a matter of fact, here's the commercial.
Taco Bell's been struck by Pizzazz, new Pizzazz Pizza.
Get serious.
Okay, it's cheesy like a pizza, but it's really crisp and light.
Every time I get struck, I hear a loud.
When I get struck, the roof blows off, the floor
Ryan.
splits open.
Get struck by the never-before taste of Pizzazz Pizza.
Can Pizzazz strike twice?
Only when you're standing in the right place.
Pizzazz, Pizzazz, Pizzazz.
See? Pizzazz Pizza. I thought that was an awesome name. But let's go over some of these ingredients that are going to be going into our Mexican pizza. Now, last time we showed you how to make the Taco Bell pizza sauce, and it tasted just like Taco Bell pizza sauce. So we're going to do that again. So most of these ingredients are for the sauce. But then we also have beans, we have a pound of ground beef, we have some taco blend cheese, we have the Crisco, which we're going to be frying up our tortillas over there. And the tortillas that we're going to be using are going to be the rest of the Aztecas. So we're going to blast those out of here, get them out of the house, because I don't really like Aztecas, but they will be perfect for frying. And that's what we're going to do tonight.
They'll taste better at least.
Yeah, and we're going to be using the burrito size, but traditionally you should get the soft taco size or the fajita size. Fajita size probably be better. But for this, we're going to use these Azteca burrito size, which is not much bigger than the fajita ones, but it'll be big enough. But they'll be homemade. Let's start off with making our sauce, and then while it's chilling in the refrigerator, we'll cook up the meat and the beans, and we'll get everything together. First thing we're going to need to make our sauce is 1 can of tomato sauce. And we're going to need a nice medium or large size saucepan. Okay, there's our tomato sauce, and we're going to be needing 15 to 16 ounces. If it's 16 ounces, get that. If it's only 15 ounces, get that. But 15 ounces will do you. Then we are going to start heating this up over a low flame so it doesn't spurt everywhere. While we add the rest of our ingredients, we're going to add a 1/3 cup of water, just like we did before.
Water. Bolt joins the bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, you singing that stuff earlier got in my head.
I know.
Rap of the Rapper is like the most freaking ridiculously
Catchy tunes
catchy
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where's my 1/4 teaspoon? I think this would be, that's my 1/4 teaspoon. All right, let's put this aside. We're gonna go after a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder.
1/4 pound of chili.
1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. Didn't say pound, I said 1/4 teaspoon. Maybe a little more than that. I didn't get a full. There we go. All right, that's a 1/4 teaspoon. We're gonna go after 1½ teaspoons of ground cumin. Let's use the ½ teaspoon. We'll just use 2 of those, or 3 of those rather. And we're gonna use a level teaspoon of cumin. 1. That's 1 full teaspoon, and 1/2 of ground cumin. We're also going to need 1½ teaspoons of minced onion. 1 and 1/2. There we go. Get that minced onion in there. So next is a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder. ½ teaspoon will do ya. Just like that. And a ½ teaspoon garlic salt. Ah, darn it. Of course you had to fall. Everything falls today. In this topsy-turvy world, the world's in a perfect place, isn't it? Okay, we're also going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. Paprika. We're going to need some more paprika soon. Alright, paprika. You're done. And finally, since we don't have cayenne pepper, we're going to use Old Bay, which is just about as good. And we're going to need a half a teaspoon of Old Bay. There we go. So you can use Old Bay as a substitute seasoning if you don't have cayenne pepper or Cajun pepper. You can use that too. And now we're going after a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. Just a little sugar will do, yeah. There we go. There's our sugar. Let's get out our tablespoon now and get out our white vinegar. 1 tablespoonful white vinegar. There we go. Alright, now we're going to take a spoon and we're going to stir. Ooh, watch out, very hot. We're going to stir all these ingredients together. That's why I say put it on low flame, but low flame on here still means very hot. Alright, so we're going to let this bubble up for just a little bit, and if it is on too high, then just turn your flame down lower, because we want this to simmer. We don't want it to boil all over the place, we just want to simmer. And just let that simmering for a little bit while we go and crack open 1 full jar of Ortega salsa, mild. There we go. And all of that just gets dumped right in there. The whole entire jar mixed with your red sauce becomes Taco Bell pizza sauce. And let me tell you folks, if you like Taco Bell pizza sauce, this tastes just like it.
But you have to make sure you refrigerate it.
Yes.
That is
you
so
have to-
weird how that just draws the flavors together.
It does, but cooking it melds everything together, and chilling it sets everything in
it
place.
smells good.
Oh, I know, I love this stuff. I really love this sauce.
And you know, it tasted even better the next day.
It did. It really, really did.
This stuff and what is it? Italian food and stuff usually tastes better the day after, they say. So
They always do. I think it's the tomato.
maybe it does. I don't
So,
know.
once you got all that cooked, what we're going to do now is we're going to chill our sauce while we work on the rest of our ingredients. This smells exactly like pizza sauce here, folks. I am not going to lie, this smells and looks exactly like you would expect to get from Taco Bell. So if you're looking for a perfect duplicate recipe for the pizza sauce, this, folks, is it. Because I used to work at Taco Bell, I should know what this stuff is made of. So if you want a duplicate, you go to somebody who worked at Taco Bell. We're going to seal that up tight, nice and warm here, and we're going to instantly chill this stuff for at least 10 to 15 minutes if we can find a place to chill it. Alright, now for the rest of our ingredients we're going to be looking for in our Mexican pizza. They used to put green onion on them. They used to put black olive on them. Tomatoes.
Oh, definitely tomatoes. And cheese, definitely
Cheese.
cheese.
And refried beans and ground beef. And of course not to forget the tortillas, because it wouldn't be much of a pizza without them. So now we're going to bring down our skillet. We've eliminated our deep saucepan. Now we're going to make room for our skillet and begin cooking our ground beef. And we need 1 pound of that. So let us dip right into our ground beef and toss it into our skillet for cooking.
It'll
Now
be
that
good now.
saucepan is going to be for our beans. So any brand of beans will do. But remember, if you go generic beans, you're going to have to water them down. Because I've noticed that generic beans are very, very thick. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we
That's it. There we go, finally. That is just so amazing how it just plops out.
go. It is amazing, isn't it? But let's get a rubber spatula to get the rest of that out of there, because, like they say, waste not, want not.
Yep.
Alright. And that'll thin itself out as it cooks. But we do need very thin beans. Let's get another can of that going. Because we're going to need 2 cans of beans for this. While we're waiting for that can of beans to open, give our ground beef a stir. Hopefully that'll be enough ground beef.
It's not moving, I don't think.
No, you're right, it isn't moving. Move, can move. Move, can move. Now it's moving.
Yay!
Alright, it moved. It went halfway around and then stopped. Like, wait a minute, I'm not moving anymore until you tell me I can move. Even there. has trouble moving.
So where does the beans go on the thing? Does it go like under everything?
On the bottom.
That's what I
On the
thought.
very, very bottom.
Pizza Hut must have copied that then.
I'm not surprised if they did.
Yep.
But then they are part of the same company. PepsiCo owns both.
They
of them.
are? I didn't know that. Oh
Yep.
my. Yeah.
All right, rubber spatula, help me out. There we go. There we go. Get them beans out of there. Need 2 cans of beans, watered. We will be adding water to these so we can spread it, but I think there's actually plenty of water in these beans as it is, so we'll see what the consistency is like when it cooks. And if it needs water, then we'll add water. But we do need thin enough beans where you can spread it and not glop it all over the place, because we're looking to have a nice even spread of beans on the bottom. So let's get that going.
As the meat sizzles.
Is that a soap opera?
That's what I was going for, yeah.
As the meat cooks. As the meat sizzles.
I like as the meat sizzles. It sounds more like that.
Stay tuned next time for General Taco Bell. Followed by All My Chalupas.
Oh my god.
We can do soap opera with food. Victor, I know you've been cheating on that burrito. You've given me the 5 best years of my life, Victor. Why do you want to cheat on me? Well, because she's better in bed than you are. Oh, snap. So we can stir our beans. Alrighty, stir our beans so that they cook evenly. So on top of that, and let's go drain our beet. So now we're going to need 2/3 cup of water, so let me get that measuring cup back out again. Here comes 3/4 of water and the seasoning. And what better seasoning to use than Taco Bell's own seasoning? It's going to taste like Taco Bell tonight, folks. You might think that this family obsesses over Taco Bell. Well, somewhat. We do like Taco Bell's food, but we loved it even more back in the day when they made real food,
Yeah.
and it was a lot cheaper. Now everything's freeze-dried and more expensive. What are they trying to say?
I say they want to get more money out of you.
Okay. Now we're going to take this spoon, stir up our beans, make sure they don't burn on the bottom of the pan, because burnt beans is no good. And that's about the consistency you want. Nice and runny, spreadable. Don't want it too thick. That's what we want right there. Let's turn down the fire on these so they simmer, not boil. And they will cook up slowly the rest of the way. Okay, this skillet here is going to be used to fry our tortillas, which is going to be the next step after we make our meats. Now we don't want too much going on the stovetop. Cooking your beans and meat is fine at the same time, but when you cook your tortillas, you want total concentration on that skillet. Alright, since we only have 1 pound of this meat, we're going to have to go very sparingly on the beef so that we can distribute it evenly amongst the many Mexican pizzas we're going to have. Now that's good and done. Let's turn that down. Let's turn that down. That should be good. Let's reach for our next skillet here. And what we're going to do here is going to place just enough canola oil or corn oil or vegetable oil. Vegetable is preferred. Canola is also preferred. Just enough to have an excess from the bottom and so that you can submerge fully a tortilla. Turn the fire back on, and we're going to wait until this is nice and hot. Now remember, oil, no matter what brand you use, no matter what kind of oil you use, will thin out in the heat. So it's thicker when you first pour it in, and then as it cooks, it'll thin, so it'll look like you got more oil in there. So always go with just the basic amount that you think you're going to need. I'm going to see what they're going to be like using tongs, or you can also use a spatula to flip your tortillas.
Or both.
Or both. You might need both of them. Alright, should be getting hotter. If it isn't, then there's something wrong with the fire. The fire's broken. How do you break fire? How does fire not cook?
Not hot enough, I guess.
Not hot enough, yeah. That fire is not hot enough. That is not an excuse for fire. You need it hotter. Fire is fire. It's going to burn at any temperature it feels like it. All right, we are ready to roll. So, rolling on with our first tortilla. Now, I don't know how good this one's going to be because it's very torn, but just carefully drop that down. And with your tongs, you're going to push, and now usually that's going to be quite hot.
Yeah, it's not
I saw it bubbling. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, it's getting there. It's getting
there we go.
It's getting there. Okay, you want to submerge that tortilla, and you notice it's going to bubble up like a pillow, so you definitely want to prevent as much...
Those tongs work pretty good for this.
Oh yeah. There we go. You want to prevent a huge pillow. I mean, little pillow pockets like this is normal and natural, but you don't want the whole thing to become a pillow. So you'll get blisters here and there of air. That's fine. That's normal. Very, very, very normal. Of course, we're also working with tortillas that are bigger than Mexican pizza size that they use at Taco Bell too, so that's understandable. We usually use a better brand of tortillas. Not only that, but we also use smaller size, but this is just fine. So what you want to do is you want to flip it over, and when you flip it, you want to kind of push out any of the air pockets. Just make sure the whole thing doesn't become a pillow, because that's not what you need. Okay, then let it cook on that side for a while because this oil is still heating up, but once the oil heats up to where we need it to be, you just drop it in, flip it, drop it, then, you know, I mean, you'll just be going through it like you want.
Yeah, higher temperature better.
Oh yeah, much better.
Sorry,
There
just
we
getting
go.
a plate for this stuff.
There we go. Now you also want to watch that you don't burn them too much. This is a little bit overdone over here on the side here, but...
Well, not much you can do about it right now.
No, but it just adds more to the homemade technique of the tortilla. Okay, we got a plate over there with paper towel on it, so we're going to let the tortilla drain over there. I'll just place it right there and it'll just dry up on its own. Go for tortilla number 2.
It's off to a much faster start.
Yep, the hotter it gets, the faster it'll cook, and that's what we need, is a faster cooking job. So just...
Oh my.
Yep, like I said, those air pockets will get you, so once it starts ballooning up like that, turn it over, keep pushing. Being very careful not to push any hot oil onto your skin because that will hurt. Then flip it over and again, check the other side. Okay, not quite done yet. Okay. And folks, you want to use flour tortillas for these. You don't want to use corn. Corn tortillas will make tostadas. These aren't tostadas we're making pizza. All right, that's good right there. That is good. Okay. Shake off any excess and then right over here and drop it down. Do that again, because for every pizza you're going to need 2 fried tortillas. And then, when we make our pizzas, we're also going to need to put them in the oven for 5 minutes at about 350 degrees. Take out a baking sheet, and with the baking sheet you can make 2 Mexican pizzas about this size on the same sheet. At least you can try to. There we go. Okay, so we're going to make 2 at a time. And what we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And for 5 minutes we're going to bake our pizzas. Now I know everything is pre-cooked beforehand, but the oven is there to help melt all the cheese down and make everything nice and piping hot when it reaches you.
Sounds good.
So that was the purpose of Taco Bell putting it in the oven after everything was said and done. Okay, I'm going to give the meat a little stir. Get it all nice and moistened. Alright, now starting off with the beans. And this is why you need them thin enough to where you can spread them. And this is why you need 2 cans instead of 1. Okay, So let's just move that to the side, spread this as much as possible. And you want a thin layer of beans. I mean, you can make it as thick as you want, but we are also using very large sized tortillas where we would normally be using smaller sized tortillas. Which is why I really wished I had 2 pounds of ground for this recipe instead of just the 1, which is why I'm saying that that's not going to be enough meat to go around. So for this recipe, if you make the burrito sized tortillas, you're going to need 2 pounds, not 1. So let's get another layer of bean down on the second one. Get it down there to start, and then what we're going to do is kind of like with a traditional pizza, you're going to spread that around. Be very careful not to break your tortilla. Just need a little bit extra bean to go around the edge there. And you can put your bean edge to edge. So we're just going to spread. Now since Ronan doesn't eat beans, his is going to have just without beans on it. So mine is going to have beans.
These are each just 1, so that's like 4 here.
That's 2.
Oh.
These are 2. And now ground beef, which I'm going to try to distribute evenly with whatever beef we have, just by kind of, it's not going to be much to go around though, so I'm going to be very, 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 very stingy with beef, unfortunately, because we only had 1 pound instead of 2. We definitely need a 2 for this recipe. So that's 1, and then here comes the other. So just spread that around as best as possible. Now if you had 2 pounds, then you can really pile on the beef. But unfortunately, we're not that lucky. Okay, now take another layer, and you're going to put that on top.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Okay, now this layer is going to be all your other ingredients, your sauce, your cheese, your green onions, tomatoes, all that stuff. So, okay, now we're going to take the sauce, and since we got plenty of sauce, layer that stuff on. So this is your second layer after you've placed a clean tortilla on top of your meat and bean layer. You're going to start spreading the pizza sauce around. Oh man, this smells exactly like the stuff too. I am just really amazed by how well this turned out.
That is good.
Okay, spreading the sauce. Now I'm a saucy guy. I loves my sauce.
That's good.
So you can spread that edge to edge if you want to. Go in underneath
The little Oreo.
Going up underneath there, and there's your pizza sauce. Next, you're going to want to put some tomato. Tomato here, sprinkle a little tomato on there. Get it distributed around a bit. Tomatoes, even though there's tomatoes in the sauce, but
It makes it better, more of them.
unless tomato never hurt anybody. Just kind of drop tomato here and there.
Especially because everyone loves tomatoes. Not everyone.
Not everyone.
Everybody here, I mean.
Everyone here, yeah.
Yes, tomatoes are good.
Give myself a little more extra tomato because that wasn't quite enough. Okay, here's all of our tomato. Next, we want to cheese them. Okay, so get out our taco blend cheese, and we're just going to apply a nice generous layer of cheese on top of that. Try to spread it evenly and get as much of your tortilla covered with that cheese. This cheese is a good thing to have on top of your Mexican pizza because it's not going to be much of a pizza if you don't top it with lots of cheese. Okay. Now for Ronan, that's where the meal stops because he doesn't want anything else but just that. But I, on the other hand, cannot complete this without green onion on the top.
You know, I think lettuce might be pretty good on there. Sometimes,
Usually
I
don't
mean,
put
like if
lettuce
we
on
ever
it.
do it again like that, we could try it on like that.
You could try lettuce.
Well, no,
on
we're
it,
doing this here
but
with the Taco Bell. I'm just saying someday maybe.
sometime, yeah, you probably could try with lettuce, but you also got to remember this has got to go into the oven, and baked lettuce is never any good.
Ooh, that's a good point.
So if you want to put it on last.
That's a good point.
And we're going to finish it off with some black olives. And the original recipe, since they're using smaller tortillas for the original, is usually 4 black olives on the top of the pizza and just a small amount of green onion. But these are bigger, so you're going to need to really scatter your ingredients. This is how the original recipe for Mexican pizza, or Pizzazz pizza, was created at Taco Bell. Using all fresh ingredients. Perish the thought, fresh ingredients. Well, except for the olives, though. They were always canned.
Yeah.
Of course, they never made their salsa in-house, so that was also canned. But everything else was made fresh to order. All the beans, all the meat, the tomatoes were fresh. Everything was fresh. Mexican Pizza Deluxe. Mexican Pizza Plain. Be very easy to identify.
Yep.
We are going to bake these until the cheese is nicely melted, and then once that's done, we're going to take them out, chop them down into pieces, serve them, do a taste test, and we'll tell you exactly how this recipe fares against the original Pizzazz pizza recipe from Taco Bell. So hopefully we got us a winner chicken dinner, or shall I say Mexican dinner.
Mexicano.
Almuerzo Mexicanos. Me gusta mucho. So let me cover up the sauce again. And we have enough for one more Mexican pizza. Just one. And while that was baking, I had enough time to make one other Mexican pizza. So this recipe yields 5 Mexican pizzas. So let's take a look and see how well they're doing. Da, 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 da. And there they are. There's the results of your Mexican Pizzazz pizza. So let's go ahead and put these up.
Sauce.
And here's the plain ones. They look just as good. All right. The big spatula. So with the spatula, go ahead and lift. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Right onto the plate. And then this, I just want to get onto that baking rack without breaking the tortillas. Without breaking them, I don't want to break the tortillas. That is not acceptable by Taco Bell standards, unfortunately. That will not work. Now, there's your results of the original Mexican Pizzazz pizza with extra olives and green onions and sauce. Not so much meat though, but now we're going to take a pizza cutter. And usually at Taco Bell we have this metal bar thing, this little thin thing with a handle on it. We just went and it sliced it. But unfortunately we don't have one of those, so we got to use a pizza cutter. So I just cut it once like that.
Oh, it cuts through pretty good.
It cuts through like butter. And once through like that. And there you have Pizzazz Pizza. We're going to call it the original name because it is the original recipe. Pizzazz Pizza has struck, and it's waiting for you in your kitchen. And there's Ronan's Pizzazz with a little green onion there from the cutter, so let me get that out of there. Okay, and make sure that cut all the way through. There we go.
It's pizzazza.
There's your Pizzazz Pizza with the prime ingredients, and then there's the extra. So, let's do us a little taste test, and then we'll send you on your way to make your own Mexican Pizzazz Pizza. Now, you'll notice that after baking them for a while, your tortillas will soften up quite a lot. But everything will be ready to go and baked to perfection. Let's see if it's the original recipe. Oh my goodness. Folks, once again, this is better than the original recipe, folks. I'm not lying. If you want to duplicate Mexican pizza in your place, you're going to make it better than Taco Bell, let me tell you. But the flavor is just like stepping back to 1985 all over again. Impressive. That is very impressive, folks. But don't just take my word for it. Make it at home and see just how good you can make your own Pizzazz pizza and really dazzle your family and friends with what you can do in the kitchen. So, this is SonicBlu saying if you're not cooking good, you're not eating good. And if you pay attention to us, we'll make sure you eat good. So tune in next time. We're going to show you how to make cinnamon crispets, the old Taco Bell way. Now, I'm going to enjoy my Mexican pizzas. See? Pizzazz Pizza. I thought that was an awesome name. But then they switched it to Mexican Pizza a couple years later, and...
Well,
now
it
it's
fits. It fits better with the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, it does, but...
I like
Mexican
Pizzazz, though.
Pizza. Mexicans don't make pizza. Italians make pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Mexicans don't make pizza. They make burritos. They make tacos. They make chimichangas.
Yep,
They
and
make chili rellenos.
yep, and this is at
Carne asada.
American Mexican restaurant, so it just doesn't make sense to otherwise.
See, after Taco Bell came out with the Mexican pizza, I didn't know one single Mexican that would eat at Taco Bell. But before that, they would all come to Taco Bell. But Mexican pizza came out, and then the chilitos. I can't tell you what that means on TV, but...
Oh, that's
just
right. I
trust me.
remember that. I remember reading about that.
Yeah. They had to change it to chili burrito,
Oh yeah,
because chilito means something else. Look it up on Google.
adult. Yes.
Yes, look it up on Google. I'm not going to say what it means here, but it's beginning to look a lot like red sauce on the stove tonight. Why am I singing Christmas tunes?
I don't know. Christmas in June.
Christmas in July. It's not July yet.
Yeah.
On my beans, gotta stir the meat while I get that beans in. Hope I don't drop the beans on the floor because that would be bad. That would be bad. Still not gonna